YouTube is LMERicoTv, man. I'm back with another video, man. Y'all see what we got going on, man. We got RALO FAMGOON, PIMPIN and FEDS going wrong by none other than 1090 Jake in the Senate, so you already know what time it is. Now, I trust in his videos because he always makes sure he do the background research and everything before he posts videos, so that's why I love reacting to his videos, because I feel like he's always going to give you the accurate, right information. So with that said, though, man, y'all know what time it is. If you're brand new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button now. And also don't forget to turn on post notifications as well. And also don't forget to smash that like button. With that said, I'm going to start the screen record. That's started. It's starting the vid now.
I ain't ratted on no goddamn man on this earth, dog. I was presented this situation where a person goddamn was willing to goddamn take somebody to take a charge for me, and goddamn I wanted to go that route. And the only thing I have to admit it to was trying to trick the feds and manipulate the feds. It's just how the game go, bro. You don't let the big dog go down, you take the fall for the man can stay out and eat, bro.
So it sounded like he actually didn't say anything for real, like people been saying. Because I've been seeing when this information was first posted with the video and stuff like that, but I didn't really want to say I'm agreeing, because at the end of the day, I don't know everything that's being exposed in the situation for real, and I can't trust that everything is rightfully being exposed. So that's why I said I'm gonna just wait and see a video out that's gonna really break this stuff down with the accuracy for real. So I was like, none other than 1090 Jake, I feel like he would do a video on this. So sure enough, here we are. So we gonna see, man, because like I said, I trust in him because he's always gonna go do the research for real, because before he come and post a video about the situation. So with that said, I trust in his videos more than a lot of other YouTubers that's doing these types of videos. But with that said, though, man, we're going to go ahead and continue on.
97 months. The federal sentence of Terrell Davis, who's more commonly known as the Atlanta rapper RALO. Incarcerated since 2018 for his role in trafficking marijuana across the country, this was the trap star who purchased an entire apartment complex in the hood, turning it into a fortified base where those under his command lived rent-free and protected the property with high caliber firepower. Instagram posts with Floyd Mayweather amounts of cash and a caption that would later be used against him in court would highlight the luxury lifestyle of one of Atlanta's most infamous and carefree drug dealers. Even with being sentenced to federal prison, RALO just recently released an album from behind bars that was entirely recorded in prison, entitled 97 Months. But only days after its release, one of RALO's ex-associates lit a match that started a fire in the house of hip-hop. John Doe, who can be seen in multiple pictures with RALO and supporting him during his legal trouble, took to Instagram with a surprising caption reading, "These days, they will give a rat a pass long as he rich." Way too many rat sympathizers out here eating for clout or opportunity. Don't ask me why I ain't post that rat new mixtape. I don't support rats. I don't give a fuck who you are or what you got. If you broke the code, you not my type of guy. I'm about to draw the line in the sand and force y'all rat lovers to pick a side. The strong accusation would soon be followed by a post to an Instagram account named News Made It, with 2 pages of paperwork alleging RALO's lawyer attempted to seal documents in the case to keep the public from knowing RALO cooperated.
And I can see why a lot of the public believe this, because 2 people pretty much that, well, one person that is known to be around RALO and stuff all the time is pretty much the one that posted this shit. So it's like all the people that was fans and stuff on the outside looking in, of course, is gonna believe everything because of the simple fact the one of the main people that's always around RALO pretty much said it. So I can see how a lot of people would all of a sudden just all agree that, yeah, RALO pretty much did tell on somebody for real. So other than that, I can see how that pretty much controlled the narrative. But That said, let's continue on because we do got a lot more video left.
RALO would respond to the accusations with a long caption saying, "When there's no loophole in a case, you gotta make a loophole." He'd swear he never cooperated and not one person can say they're in jail because of him, and that his plug, his alleged shooter, and another man the government questioned were all dead. RALO's response would lead many to assume he must have told on the dead men he was referring to. Following up with a second post, RALO would go on to say he never snitched or gave up any of his plugs. He got more time than anyone in his case, and he's still locked up while everyone else is out. Now, I reached out to John Doe, and while he hasn't released 167 pages, he sent me some stuff y'all have never even seen.
And usually you would think if he did really give out some information for real, that he would have got a reduced sentence or something. Like we would have seen him, RIlo is supposed to be getting out instead of this year, that year. Instead, he's going to get out in this year, et cetera, stuff like that. So with that said, that kind of does support him in a way because he ain't getting nothing reduced at all. So other than that, let's continue on.
Come to find out, he had reached out to me weeks before any of this was even exposed. Back in early April, John Doe had apparently sent me a message offering RALO's paperwork for an undisclosed amount of money. Either ignoring it or not seeing the message, he'd send it to me again after I reached out and explained he initially didn't expose the paperwork because he was trying to sell it, so RALO's co-defendants who actually exposed it could make a profit. According to the paperwork, back in 2018, not long after RALO was taken into federal custody, he'd agreed to cooperate in the case, but an investigation into RALO's own lawyer would turn into a 2-year delay in RALO's cooperation. The paperwork that's recently hit the internet isn't actually from RALO's cooperation, but court transcripts from 2020. On the bottom of page 3, RALO's lawyer would introduce himself as Brian Steele and insist to the judge that this be a closed hearing under seal. He'd continue on page 4 by saying there are so many items that are going to come out that affect RALO and affect another person in the bar community, referring to RALO's previous lawyer. On page 5, RALO's current lawyer would say he understands that eventually the public has to know because the report and sentencing recommendation will be public. The prosecutor would oppose the motion to seal, and the judge would clear out the courtroom aside from RALO, his defense, and the government. The prosecutor would continue, saying this case and situation does not involve any of the things that would require the hearing to be closed off to the public. He'd state the issue was about a proffer that occurred at which RALO provided information to the government. The prosecutor then said it's his belief that RALO and his lawyer want the fact that he cooperated kept out of the public's knowledge, but that isn't the only issue. The second issue was RALO's former lawyer, Ashutosh Joshi, was a target of the investigation himself and alleged to be the possible drug supplier. Ash Joshi is the same lawyer who represented Gucci Mane in his infamous murder case. The prosecutor would say that RALO's argument is the government knew Joshi was targeted in the investigation when he sat down as RALO's lawyer during the proffer. RALO's current lawyer would reply by asking if the judge decides not to close the courtroom, then to refer to the proffer as a meeting, because people know the definition of a proffer, which simply put is when a defendant agrees to provide information to the prosecutor. RALO's lawyer would continue by saying, if it comes out that RALO gave information, that's a lot of information on a lot of people that are well known in his community, and it would not look good for RALO. According to the paperwork, RALO provided agents with his password to his cell phone during the proffer, in which the government was able to find tremendous amounts of inculpatory evidence. Crazy inculpatory evidence. But at the time this happened, RALO had conflicted counsel, as his lawyer was also under investigation. Exhibit 4 in the case, which is sealed, is a 2-page proffer agreement requiring full cooperation. But within notes, RALO's lawyer at the same time was instructing him not to discuss the supplier, who was allegedly the lawyer's business partner, which essentially blew RALO's cooperation deal. The judge would read RALO supposedly gave information in the proffer against other people, alleged transactions, and other alleged crimes. RALO's lawyer would say they had an agreement with the court, the proffer would not be shared with the public, and that RALO was discussing the entire marijuana trafficking issue, all the flights taken, the pilots knowing about it, and then who's the supplier, which according to the government was RALO's previous lawyer and his business partner, Manu Jones. RALO's current lawyer would continue to say RALO is cooperating against heroin, methamphetamines, he knows about shootings, and the marijuana, but he's not answering the questions. At the same time, the government was getting information from both RALO and RALO's previous lawyer, who was under investigation, and the government dragged the lawyer's investigation out. 2 years had now passed, leaving RALO unable to cooperate against anyone in the case because they'd all already been revealed. In response to the paperwork, RALO's team would post to his website a preview of RALO's autobiography in which he'd seemed to admit to his cooperation, but with a strategic twist. RALO would claim a man reached out to him with a way to pimp the feds by essentially paying someone to take the fall for crimes RALO was going to tell the government was committed. RALO's lawyer reached out to the government saying his client had information he was willing to share and a meeting was scheduled. RALO gave what he thought would benefit him and his team without actually affecting him and his team, but the feds weren't going for it. Uninterested in what RALO was offering.
So yeah, it pretty much sounded like he was only going with the plan of lying pretty much to make it everything sound good, so the point would be that he would be able to possibly get out of jail probably sooner or whatever the case may be, etc., etc. So that's pretty much what it sounded like right now. But we got about 10 more minutes left, so we're gonna see pretty much how everything add up at the end of this. But that said, let's continue on.
The feds wanted to know about RALO's involvement in shootings and
y'all comment down below though how y'all feel
unable
about
to
this
provide them
so
the
far.
information they sought. The meeting was then ended. While RALO's attempt at pimping the feds failed, RALO's new lawyer was able to attack a new angle, as RALO's old lawyer allegedly conspired with the government against RALO while also representing him. The conflicting lawyer led to a prosecutor's misconduct motion in which RALO attempted to get the entire case thrown out. That too failed, and in the end, RALO was sentenced. What's interesting is, as previously stated, RALO's lawyer was fighting to keep his cooperation sealed and understood that at sentencing, it would be revealed. But within RALO's sentencing transcripts, cooperation was never mentioned. At no point did the judge, lawyer, or prosecution highlight any cooperation which would have been used towards a sentencing reduction. Now the question that's gone unanswered is which co-defendant or co-defendants actually exposed the paperwork. None of them have come forward to speak on the situation aside from John Doe, who isn't involved in the actual case.
Hello? Assalamu alaikum. What's law? You at work? Yeah. So do you mind me telling the internet that you tried to take charges for me and all that? No, man, you know that, bro. I say, no, man, huh? You my co-defendant. He had nothing to do with our case out. So I don't know why the hell he acting like I done told him all my co-defendants. So that's what I'm trying to clarify. The whole world think I just told on my co-defendants. That is lame as hell for that shit, bro. Me, man, that shit lame as hell, bro. Like, bro, that shit lame, bro. Like, you know how mad I'm behind that shit, bro. That shit, they're like, bro, all this Muslim shit you say, you Muslim bitch ass nigga hot fucking brother fall, bro. Bitch ass cop, that shit lame, bro. That shit got me heated up for real, nigga. I can't even punch that word. This shit coming up to, man. I was gonna tell you nigga had, man, butt around. I was somebody who walked did that third, and you said you gonna get a handle. Now he making false accusations, bro. That shit lame, real, bro. Nigga, like for real, I'm brought heat behind that shit, bro. For real, bro. That's some bitch ass shit, bro. That shit lame, nigga. For real, bro. Don't do no pussy ass shit like that, bro. But what I'm trying to clarify is that, did I ever tell on you. You my co-defendant. You my little brother who tried to take the charge.
Yes, but you can tell the internet out.
I'm saying, answer the question. Like, did I?
Nah, nigga, you ain't never telling me, nigga.
I just want to make sure.
And what would the motive be behind John Doe exposing the paperwork? Initially, reaching out and seeking money. He claimed the money would be for the same co-defendants who supplied him with the paperwork, but John Doe hasn't revealed who that is. In between Instagram posts about RALO, John would promote his business as well as his own music, leading some to think this was a promotional run. But John would stand on the only motive for him releasing it is he felt played standing behind somebody who he feels should have never cooperated in any way, regardless of if it affected anyone or if RALO had a fall guy. At the end of the day, the 167 pages still remain sealed, along with many other documents, meaning nobody but those directly involved in the case have access and the ability to release them. As far as if RALO is a snitch, none of the documents released have named anyone affected by anything RALO said. RALO himself has admitted he embellished stories and had fall men willing to take charges for money. The feds didn't acknowledge any cooperation that assisted their investigation, and RALO didn't receive any benefit, sentencing reduction, or even consideration of lesser time for cooperation. In the end, it would appear RALO attempted to lie to the feds and failed, resulting in a false cooperation that his lawyer tried to keep under wraps.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's sounding, man. So, other than that, man, I don't know how y'all feel about this, but it just sounds like this was literally his only plan going in with this whole situation he was facing. He was going to go in with the plan pretty much to have these people that were willing to say, yes, I did this and that, etc., etc. You could tell them it's me. That way you don't get no time or whatever the case may be thrown on you for this situation, so that way you can get out type shit. So that seemed like that was literally the only plan he had in mind. It sounded like he ain't never had no real intentions of actually saying, these are the real people that really did do these types of crimes that y'all are pretty much trying to put against me, etc., etc. So I don't know, man. Y'all let me know down below how y'all feel about this so far. Like, do y'all feel like John Doe was pretty much telling the truth, or do y'all feel like RALO, this was really his plan all along? This was never really him trying to actually tell on anybody for real. He was just going to put some fake people involved in the whole situation, so that way they would be able to go do the time and he'll just pay on X and Y and Z amount of money, and that would be that. So that's literally how it's all sounding. And I can see too how he wouldn't want this to get out, because people are going to see it the wrong way, just like how they pretty much is now. Because I'm on the side of pretty much that he's only doing what his plan was, which was try to lie to get out. So I don't know, man, but y'all let me know how y'all feel about it, man. Let me know where y'all leaning towards right now. But that's just where I'm at right now. I'm leaning more towards that this was really just his plan all along, was to lie just to get out. But clearly that shit didn't work. Like 1090 Jake said, the government wasn't believing nothing he was saying, and they just automatically threw out whatever he was telling them because they felt like they were being played in the first place. But other than that, let's continue on.
Knowing the effect it would have on his career if it got to the internet. Now, this entire case is wild. And immediately when I heard about the situation, I started looking at the paperwork. I got in contact with John Doe. I'm hearing everything he's saying. I'm blown away by it. But at the same time, I questioned, why not release all 167 pages? Why just bit by bit it? And I mean, yeah, if I seen his message, because I don't remember seeing his message beforehand, but if I saw a message saying, yo, I got paperwork on somebody, give me some bread, I'm the one that finds the paperwork. I'm not paying you for paperwork, because I'm not going to stamp anything I can't find myself.
And this is why I said I trusted in his videos, because he's literally going to go ahead and do the real research for real. He's not going to be somebody that's going to just pretty much try to make a narrative and just say, yeah, he did tell this and that and the other, and this is the information I was given from this individual. So no, he's going to actually go do the research himself and find the information himself and not just get it from anybody. Just for situations like this, because that person could possibly be lying and obviously only trying to get money off of parts that he knows look suspicious for real, but not really tell the full story with that information he does give. So that's it. That's why I said I trust in his videos more, because he's going to really do the research for real and get the information himself before he just goes and believes what somebody else gives him and tells him. So other than that, man, let's continue on.
Because I'm going to go directly to the source. And I'm going to say right now, none of this paperwork is publicly available. None of you can get it. I can't get it. Only RALO and the people associated within the case have access to this. So nobody can stamp shit. The fact that RALO is saying, yeah, this happened and this happened, but this is how it happened, is confirming the paperwork. But this is the thing. John Doe recorded RALO speaking, but edited out the parts he didn't want anyone to hear on what RALO was saying.
At that point, he was going to have to basically release the full phone call, no edited time skips, nothing. So he pretty much would have to record the full length of the phone call and also pretty much show proof that this is the full length, because you can go see how long the phone call was. So that's it though, man. We're going to go ahead and continue on.
I commented on RALO's picture on Instagram. I was able to get in contact, direct contact with him. So everybody on Instagram was commenting like, oh, white boy, mind your business, oh, da-da-da-da-da. Not even knowing that I'm on the phone with the same person you over here trying to defend that you've never spoken to a day in your life. Which is crazy, because people just went to immediately assuming and trolling. But let me get back to the point here. I was able to hear RALO out from his perspective on how everything played out. Reading the paperwork, I was able to get John Doe to keep sending things. And as he kept sending them, I'm reading through it from an unbiased perspective. His own lawyer was saying, my client has spoke about this, my client knows about this and that. He's trying to make his client sound like fucking Batman, because that's gonna make RALO look good.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Throughout this whole situation, throughout the video, I was like, damn, this shit wild as hell for real. Because everything that was being said, you would really think this shit was coming out of a movie. Like, everything was just sounding too good for real. But other than that, let's continue on.
The feds was saying, ain't none of this doing nothing for us. So the fact is, whatever RALO was given wasn't cutting it. Nothing says it was used against anybody. No one's come forward saying it was used against them. So RALO saying, yeah, I made up some shit, lied, and gave it to the feds, hoping it would work, seems like it happened, because he didn't even benefit from what he actually did.
And that's why I said I'm leaning more towards RALO's side, just because of the simple fact he didn't get nothing reduced. And on top of that, we would have been heard, like, this is when RALO is supposed to be confirmed getting out, et cetera, and it would have been updated on his information and on his booking site, pretty much on the jail records or whatever the case may be. So if they ain't able to show nothing like that, then you can't really say that he was really telling on somebody and he was benefiting from it, because you can't really find no information on any of that. You can't find no reduced sentencing. You can't find no actual transcripts of the whole case for real, unless you are directly involved in the case. And other than that too, like he said, nobody came out and really said that, hey, I was told on by him, this is what happened and shit, et cetera, So it's like the information that John Doe was giving out ain't really living up to what is basically supposed to portray. So that's it though, man. We're gonna go ahead and continue on. There's only 2 minutes left and the video is almost over.
There was no sentencing reduction that I saw. There was no points. There was no consideration. Hey, he tried to do this and none of that. And then because his own lawyer was allegedly the plug, which is something out of a fucking movie, and his lawyer was telling the government this and that while telling him this and that, that played out into a 2-year delay in which he couldn't have cooperated against anybody because of how much time had gone by. Everyone was already wrapped up. The feds knew everything that they needed, so they want to know about murders and shootings, and RALO isn't talking about it. So, in my opinion, I don't think he snitched. And I talked to a couple of YouTubers
And that's exactly
about
how
this.
I feel
talked to
about it
Seti
right now.
Nash, King AK-47, shout out to them.
That's why I said I see why a lot of people on the outside looking in would believe this, because John Doe is one of those people that was around RILO all the time, for real. So once he said what he said, a lot of people was automatically gonna agree with him and believe that that's really what it was. So that's why I say, man, I like to tell people, you got to do real research for real before you speak on anything, because at the end of the day, if you can't really go find this information to support what this person is saying to be true, then that means that person ain't really telling the truth for real, or pretty much just trying to make up a narrative and benefit off of it for their own personal gain, etc., etc. So that's it, man. You can't believe everything that somebody says, man. If you can't find a real research to back up what they saying, then it's gonna pretty much be assumed a lie. So that's just where we at right now. But with that said, let's continue on.
I broke it down like this from a perspective of, if me and Seti Nash are inside of a car, we get pulled over, and I got a gun on me. I'm a felon, he's not. Yo, bro, I'm gonna face this much time. If I get caught with this, you're gonna face a lot less. I'm gonna give you $50K to take this gun charge. If they ask me whose gun it is, I'm gonna say it's yours. He's like, all right, bet. I give him the gun. Police take me out of the car. Hey, whose gun is that? That's his gun. We already made a deal. He got the $50K. He took the charge. I'm free. But if someone later exposes the paperwork, look, 1090J told on Seti Nash. He said that was his gun, because that was something that we established we were gonna do. What RILO is saying in this situation is he found someone or a group of people or whatever the fuck the situation is, and he was gonna give $400,000 fucking dollars. And y'all watching this can't tell me you wouldn't be willing to sit down for a year for $400,000. So he,
I definitely wouldn't. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not that thirsty for money. If I gotta go do that, I would rather just have my freedom and be able to do what I want to do with the money I'm supposed to get. So with that said though, man, y'all comment down below what y'all would do, man. At the end of the day, there's no real right answer to that, because at the end of the day, some people really do live that lifestyle, just wouldn't want to be going to jail just for a whole ass year, even though that's a large amount of money. And then you got some people that don't live that lifestyle that still wouldn't do that for that large amount of money. So that's just the way I am. I wouldn't want to do it for that amount of money. I don't care how much it is, but y'all comment down below how y'all would pretty much do.
he's saying he found somebody that was willing to take some money to take the fall. He was gonna say, oh yeah, this person was moving this and they had this over here, they did that, and the feds listened to it. They wasn't buying it. They didn't go for it. That's the situation we're left with. At the end of the day, the internet is gonna run with what they want to run with. They're gonna hear him, they're gonna hear the audio. They're not gonna hear about the rest of it. A lot of people don't want to hear about the rest of it. I'm not gonna say John Doe.
People already got their mind made up for real, for real. Once John Doe said what he said, at that point, some people already had their mind made up. Like, even with this video, like he said, people is still gonna feel how they pretty much feel. A lot of people ain't gonna care to hear the full story. They just gonna go based off what was already told to them by somebody that they believe is way credible. So it's like, it is what it is at that point. They gonna already had a mind made up, like he said.
Is wrong, but I would have liked to hear the conversation unedited, to hear what he was saying back. But let me know y'all thoughts and comments. Maybe y'all feel a different way, and I want to hear it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the end of the video, man. Y'all go on here, head down to the comments and comment down how y'all feel about this whole situation and pretty much who y'all believe, etc., etc. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button right now. And also, don't forget to turn on post notifications so you guys get notified when I drop new videos. And also, don't forget to add and follow me on social media. All my social media platforms are listed down below in the description box as well as throughout the video. So you shouldn't have a hard time at all finding me on social media. With that said, though, man, that's the end of the vid. And I'm going to catch you guys later on with more. So stay tuned. Peace.